was born with a small hole inside my soul, the size of God. It wasn't my father's fault. It wasn't my mother's fault.
So I thought, how could I fill that? And I got this in my head that if I could become, I used to watch the $1 Million Movie, and if I could become an actor, like those actors on television that were already dead, I would think, oh my gosh, they're dead, but there they are, they still exist.
And I would think, how is there ever going to be any evidence that I ever existed? But if I became an actor, that being an actor and being successful would fill this hole that was inside of me. It was big, and I wanted to fill it with that, with success. And in filling it with success, I wouldn't be depressed any longer.
Ignorance is bliss.
And I couldn't fill it with women, and I couldn't fill it with drugs, and I couldn't fill it with alcohol, and it just could not be filled. To the point where I was sitting on top of everything that I had accumulated. And I could not understand why I felt so bad. What was wrong with me? Shame on you, Joey. You've listened to Joseph Campbell. You followed your bliss, and you got more than you ever expected. What's wrong with you? You selfish son of a bitch. What's wrong with you?
And it was affecting my family, my wife.
There was no set time frame that all of a sudden, boom. There was this different person in my life. It was a slow slide, and it was hard to recognize the Joe that I fell in love with and the Joe that was the wonderful father I knew. But I kept saying to myself, he's there, I know he's there, I know he's there. It's just a rough patch, whatever. You know, that happens. And it didn't seem to stop. I can remember being at a dinner party, and you're on a roll with telling jokes, and then all of a sudden you're making jokes about me farting in bed, you know, which I would think every married couple has that happen with them, but it's not something you want to have shared at a dinner party.
Or in a documentary.
Well, yeah, but it is, I mean, it is what it is. You would talk about our love life, you would talk about things I did for you, and then it starts to get to, well, I'm not going to do anything for you because you're just telling everybody and it's supposed to be ours, you know. I'm glad that's over.
I made a movie called Canvas. It's about what happens to a family when mental illness is introduced. Told through the eyes of a 10-year-old boy, and how mental dis-ease affects the entire family.
While we were shooting Canvas, Marcia Gay Harden, who played my wife in the film, seeing how she performed reminded me of my mother. And I realized that it was some of the behavior that I'd grown up around in my family. And then the light bulb goes off. I had it all wrong about my mother, that she couldn't have made a change, that she was a victim of her own undiagnosed bipolar disorder.